Nadine, if you could just do a quick mic check for me.
Absolutely. How was lunch? Good?
Very good. Thank you for asking.
We start, yeah? Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon. During the declared emergency of the City of Toronto, Committee of Adjustment virtual public hearings are being conducted by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform, and streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel. These measures are necessary to comply with physical distancing requirements and a provincial order that limits attendance at public gatherings. My name is Isaac Lalose and I'll be chairing the hearing. Panel members participating this afternoon via WebEx and can be seen and heard are Ms. Sankar, Ms. Atarodi, Mr. Bartolo, and Mr. Klassen. City staff will be assisting us throughout the meeting, including moderating the WebEx platform. Participants who are registered in advance will be able to make their presentation to the committee using the said WebEx. Anyone wishing to view the hearing may do so by watching on YouTube. These participants will be connecting either by their computer, a phone or tablet app, or by telephone. All participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, each participant will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. Only the committee members will be participating by video. Any registered participants will be participating by audio only. We ask that you also unmute your devices until you are called on to speak. And please have only one electronic device on at a time to avoid background echoing. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat people, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, including Inuit and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. In accordance with Sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provision of the zoning bylaw that applies to the property, permission to extend or alter legal non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. Anyone who wants to receive a copy of the committee's decision on an application must submit a written request by email. Please include your name, address, and email address because Committee of Adjustment and TLAB will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email only. If you do not agree with the committee's decision, decisions may be appealed to the Toronto local appeal body known as TLAB, or in some limited circumstances to the local planning appeal tribunal known as LPAT. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the committee's decision. Hearing this afternoon will be as follows. I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant will proceed with their presentation if required. The committee may ask questions and or take the matter into the committee for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant or agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when the 5-minute mark is reached. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address, and please confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. Where required, the applicant or agent will proceed first with the presentation, and please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to the proposals at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application in order to revised application is accurate and all those entitled to receive a notice are informed of the changes. Then individuals, either in support or in opposition to the application, will be invited to speak. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker at the end of their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant or agent has the chance to address only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of discussions. The application will then be taken to committee for a decision. Now, for this afternoon session, committee members and staff, any declaration of conflict? No conflict of interest to declare? No. Okay, now we have a request for a deferral for two applications. One is number 30, which is 29 DONWOODS Drive, variance, item number 30, and we have here number 30, Mr. Tom Sprague, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, just for the records here, could you please state your name and address for the records?
Yes, it's Tom Sprague, Sprague and Company Architects. Our address is 156 Duncan Mill Road,
Thank you. As I understand,
Toronto.
the TRCA requests deferral for the application for further study, and you agreed to the deferral. Is that correct?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. They wanted additional information relative, in addition to the report they already have. So we're agreeable to that
Thank you.
and are requesting a deferral.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. We have one more registered speaker here. We just want to get them on to see what's happening. Mr. Cosmin Dumitra, are you there?
One moment, Mr. Chair. It appears that Cosmin is not present.
Oh, okay. So you're the only one here. Members, we have requests for deferral to for further study of the application. Any question or a motion? Ms. Sankar?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I will motion to defer this application to get some further clarifications and studies done.
Thank you.
Sine die.
Sanidai, thank you. Second? Ms. Atarodi, all in favor? Okay. Your application is deferred, Sanidai, for the study as you requested.
Great.
Okay, we have one more item for deferral, which is number 33. Item number 33, 126 Riverview Drive. 33, we have the agent, Adam Brown. Mr. Brown, are you there?
I'm here, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. And we have.
Thank you.
had
Yeah,
discussions-
before we go there, all we need, could you please just state your name and address because we need it for the record. You have to
Sure.
announce it.
It's Adam Brown, 5075 Yonge Street, Suite 900, Toronto, M2N 6C6.
Thank you. So we have
Thank
one more registered here to speak. As I understand, you there is like the agent, you request the deferral. The staff report also requests deferral, recommends it, and the TRCA requests a deferral. Are you okay with the deferral?
Absolutely. We've had some very positive discussions with planning and TRCA. There'll be some revisions to the application and positive responses to the comments that have been raised. So
Thank you.
It's needed.
Thank you. We'll just hear from the area residents. We have here Vishal Kudi. Are you there? She unmuted.
Mr. Chair and members, Mr. Cootie is not available.
Is not available. Okay, so we have just one, we have just the agent request the deferral. Do I have any question or motion? Ms. Tarodi?
So no question. I want to, through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to defer this application, sine die,
At the request, okay.
at the request of the applicant,
I can
so that he has time to address all those issues.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Sankar, all in favor? Okay. Your application is deferred sine die as you requested. Okay, Mr. Brown? Okay. So we're going to go back to the, now, any, Mr. Secretary, any other, nothing to defer or close files, no? Okay. Okay, we have here item number 20. Item number 20, which is 486 Armadale Avenue. We have this just to construct a new a two-story rear addition and one-story front addition, 4 variances, 1 letter of concern, and that's it. So, Mr. Ben Baghdadi, are you there?
Mr. Chair and members, there is no agent registered in the WhatsApp or the WebEx meeting. There is, however, a Baghdadi.
Baghdadi.
I suspect that's who he actually is. He just didn't register,
he's the
log
on-
in with his name
He's the
he
only one
provided
registered
us.
here, huh?
We can give this person a shot and confirm.
So,
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair.
Oh, he's
This
there.
is Bomdad Ben Baghdadi. I
okay.
actually did register and got the confirmation from WebEx. I'm
Yeah,
surprised.
just a second. Could you please?
It is registered, but the name Ben was supplied as being registered, not Bamdad.
It's a typo. That's fine.
Are you Ben Baghdadi?
I am, Mr. Chair.
Okay, could you
this is
please-
Bomdad, or
Yeah, could you please just state your name and address for the records here?
Sure. This is Ben Baghdadi from BBA Design Studio, located at 18 Somerset Way, Unit 213 in Toronto. I'm the applicant and architect for this property.
Perfect. Just a second, please. Members, do we have no other speaker here? Do we need a presentation? No? Okay. Any question or motion to this speaker? Ms. Sankar, please go ahead.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve this application. I do believe it meets the 4 tests. I don't have any concerns.
Thank you. Second, Mr. Bartolo, all in favor? Okay, your application is approved and there is no condition.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, committee.
Okay. Item number 21, which is 100 Borden Street. This is application to construct a 2-story rear addition, 1 variance only, 2 letters of opposition. And we have here the agent and 2 speakers. David Colosi, are you there, please?
Yes, I'm here. I'm present.
Just please state your name and address for the records here.
Certainly. So my name is David Calusi, architect with Workshop Architecture. We're the designers on behalf of the property owner
Thank
and
you.
applicant.
Thank you. We have 2 more speakers here, so please give us a short presentation with a maximum of 5 minutes.
Okay, so I believe actually only one letter is truly an opposition. One is a comment asking for a condition which we're amenable to, which reflects desire to manage surface rainwater from this subject property at 100 Borden to the neighboring property at 98 Borden. So just to refresh everyone's memory with this application, it's an existing house with a proposed addition at the rear, 2-story addition at the rear, which will make it the same depth as the neighboring property. as noted in the introduction, there's one variance requested, which is regards to overall building length, because it would exceed 14 meters. That's the only variance. It's within height restrictions, it's within lot coverage, it's within allowable GFA. So I'm happy to just, I guess, respond to the two letters, if that's useful. As I said, the one letter raised concerns about surface water runoff at the neighboring property to the south. We concur that this is actually the perfect opportunity to deal with exactly those concerns. As per the building code, the stormwater rainwater runoff will be handled as part of this application and included with the building permit application. So we have no issue with that concern, and if committee elects to put that as a condition on this application, we have no concern with that. I'm not sure if that's something you do. The other concern is from the neighbor to the north, which is actually the adjoining half of this semi-detached property. We understand their objections to the project because it will have impact on their access to natural light. I guess what we would say to that is this is a common condition throughout Toronto, which I'm sure committee sees dozens of these applications all the time. And we just point out that although the impact of the natural light is from the second story addition, actually this proposal would make the subject property the same depth as the neighbor to the north. The same. We're not projecting further beyond that.
That's it? Are you finished?
That's it at this point.
You're finished. Okay, well, we have two more speakers here. We have also their letters, 98 and 102 Borden, and they are registered to speak. We'll hear from them, and then we'll get you back to respond. We have here Mr. Jack Martin. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, could you please state your name and address? We need it to be recorded.
Yes. My name is Jack Martin. My address is 102 Borden Street, Toronto, M5S 2N1.
Thank you. So tell us what's your concern, and we'll give you the 5 minutes here.
Okay, I'll actually be briefer than that, I believe.
Okay.
I thank the committee for the opportunity to address you today. I have expressed the concern in the letter, and I'm not going to go repeat everything there. It's actually not a semi-detached house. It's a row situation. I guess I'm the second one from the south. It's been a situation where I've lived here for about 35 years and generally good relations with the neighbors at 100. There's been several over the years, several renovations. Even with the current neighbor and in the past, there's certainly been discussion ahead of time about things that they were doing, which were of a more minor nature. So I was quite surprised to receive the notice from the committee in the mail. As I've indicated in the letter, these are long, narrow houses, and big attraction and enjoyment of this house has been fair degree of sunlight. I just to clarify with what the architect has said, it is true, and I appreciate the fact that the length is the same. They're not asking for extra length compared to what exists in my house. However, the back part of my house is a single story, and the light I'm concerned about is what comes into the back room of the second story, which is the kitchen. My concern is that as presently designed, it will impair the light and enjoyment of the property. And for that reason, I'm saying it makes the adjustment undesirable for the appropriate use of the land. But those are my concerns, and I thank the committee for the opportunity to express them.
Okay, any question for this gentleman? Okay, next is Joseph Castrilli. Are you there? No? Mr. Castrilli, are you there?
Mr. Chairman, I'm here.
Okay, please state your name and address, please.
My name is Joseph Castrilli. I'm the registered owner of 98 Borden Street in Toronto. Postal code M as in Martin, 5 S as in Sam, 2 N as in North 1. And
thank you. Tell us what your concern is.
In conjunction with my pre-filed written submissions, including my proposed condition, which appears at page 1 of my letter, I would ask that that condition be attached to the permission for variance that you may otherwise grant, if you so grant such a variance. I understand from Mr. Calusi, he or his client is amenable to that condition, so it ought not to be a problem in the circumstances. I just want to make 2 points. Firstly, conditions can be made or can be attached to a minor variance, and this committee has the legal authority to do so under Section 45, subparagraph 9 of the Planning Act. And so you can grant both the variance and my requested condition. And secondly, there's case law authority for such an approach, and that's referred to in the Bernardi case, which is a copy of a decision of the Ontario Municipal Board that I provided to the committee with my written submissions. And in that case, the Municipal Board, as it then was, upheld a Committee of Adjustment condition respecting control of drainage on a minor variance for a new residential dwelling. So in the circumstances, I should also note that there would have been there, as there is here, a building code requirement that would have applied. But nonetheless, the Municipal Board still upheld the Committee of Adjustment prohibition on causing drainage problems as a condition of the minor variance itself. So in my respectful submission, the legal authority is there, both on the basis of the statute and on the basis of case law, for the committee to attach the condition I propose at page 1 of my letter to any variance that may be that you may grant to the application at 100 Borden Street. Subject to any questions you may have, those are my submissions.
Yeah. I'm impressed with your knowledge of the case and the law. Could you please state exactly what is the condition that you want to address to any variance? Because as far as the drainage, I don't think the drainage, we don't address the drainage here. So tell me, please, state exactly what is the condition that you think we should apply for it?
The condition appears at page 1 of my letter and again at page 3, and I'll just read it into the record, that the proposed 2-story rear addition at 100 Borden Street shall not cause or exacerbate water management or drainage problems at 98 Borden Street.
Staff, Mr. I think we don't know. Those are not part of the. Any question for this gentleman here? I don't see the members. Could you please remove that letter from there? Okay. Any question for this gentleman? No. Okay. So let's get back.
Mr. Chairman, there was just one other point I wanted to make. The authority that I mentioned in the Bernardi case appears at paragraph 29 of that judgment. And it says that the condition that was being added to the variance in that case was to state that, quote, no drainage problems resulting from the construction of that proposed dwelling. So the language that I've used in my condition, I tried to mimic as closely as possible to the condition that was approved in the Bernardi case.
Thank you. Do you have any question before we we'll bring the agent? No question. Okay.
Sure, Mr. Chair, I don't have a question for the presenter, but I have a question from city staff that is it possible that we attach such a condition to our motion?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Thank
She's
you.
asking you, she's asking you if the,
Staff are not the people to ask if you should put a condition. That's up to the members to decide whether they want to put a condition or not.
But we never,
No.
put any condition for drainage or anything
So
like that.
so you just answered your own question.
that's it. Yeah. Yeah, the gentleman, I guess he can address the planning, the Department of, Building Committee. Mr. Colosi, David Colosi, can you come back, please?
Hello.
Okay.
I believe I've been unmuted now. Yep. So I think that was why, well, to respond to the two speakers, I mean, with regards to the drainage issue, that's why I prefaced my comments. I'm not familiar with committee putting such conditions on applications. Other conditions, certainly urban forestry and such, we're open to it, regardless if you put it on or not. I mean, we're amenable to this, dealing with any drainage issues as part of this proposal. So if you elect to put it on, we have no issue with that. If not, we'll deal with it anyways, regardless. As far as the other speaker, who's the property to the north, all I can say is I understand, and I don't deny that this has an impact on your access to natural light. But I would just say to the committee, I mean, this is a very common condition for exactly this type of residential property throughout Ontario, or throughout Toronto, and I'm sure you see many of these. I don't think it's grounds to deny the application.
Okay, thank you. Any question? Can I have a motion, please? Miss Attarodi first. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to forward a motion to approve this application with no condition.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Sankar, all in favor? Okay, your application is approved with no conditions.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Item number 22, which is 19 Cavendish Street. This is to construct a second-story rear addition and two variances, support from three neighbors, 17, 21, and 29 Cavendish, 21, which is next door. And here we have only one person who is the agent, and that's Mr. 20. Julia, no, that's Miss. Julia Borg, are you there? Julia?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Could you please state your name and address?
Julia Burke, 338 Waverly Road, Toronto, M4L 3T6.
Thank you. We have no more speakers on this item here. So let me ask the members: do we need any presentation? No. Okay. Any question for Ms. Burke or motion maybe? Ms. Attarodi.
If there is no other question from any other member, I'm ready to put forward a motion to approve this application with no other conditions.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Sankar, all in favor? Okay. Your application is approved with no conditions.
Thank you very much.
Item number 23, which is 105 South Kingsway, to construct a second-story addition, one variance, 4 letters of support. We have here Mr. Mike De Oliveira. Mike De Oliveira, are you there?
Hi, yes, I am, sir.
Okay, can you please state your name and address?
Yes, my name is Mike De Oliveira. I'm here representing 105 South Kingsway, and I work for Replacement Design located at 911 Davenport Road.
Thank you. You're the only one registered here. I'll see. Do we need any presentation? Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Bartolo?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll put forward a motion to approve this application.
Thank you. Second? Ms. Tarodi, yeah? Did you have your hand? Yes or no?
Yes, Mr. Colossen was first, so I thought you want to go.
Thank you. Well, Mr. Klassen, were you seconding this one? Okay, Mr. Klassen second, all in favor? Okay, thank you. Your application is approved. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I don't see Mr. Klassen's hand. I think there is a, yeah. If you can move a little bit to the right side. Item 24, to build a deck at the rear of the existing dwelling, 2 variances, 1 letter of support, and from 35 HEWITT, which is next door, Mr. James Lorichin, are you there? James Lorichin.
Mr. Chair and members, it appears James is a call-in user, and he is unmuted. James, if you're there, go ahead.
Mr. Lorichin, are you there?
Mr. Chair, if you want to maybe
We'll come back.
next one.
Yeah, we'll hold it. So just remind me, please. Okay, so number 25, variance 25, which is 93 B Bogert Avenue, and 20 and 23. Yeah, okay, Mr. 25, 24, and 25. Mr. Yaganeji, are you there?
Mr. Chair and members, Manny Yuganichi does not appear to be in the meeting.
He's not.
No, they haven't registered under the name Manny Yuganichi if they are in fact in the meeting, and I do not see.
He's the only one registered here, huh?
I do not see them as a phone-in user.
Mr. Chairman, you could proceed with the applicant's not there. It's noted on the hearing notices that if you fail to attend, the members may make a decision in your absence.
I'm sorry?
If an agent fails to appear,
Yeah.
the hearing notice clearly states that if you fail to attend, the members may make a decision in your absence.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so it said here he's not registered, so we shouldn't wait for him. Okay, members, we have here number 25 and number 26, both of them, the agent has not been registered and there is no other one registered. So we can still take a look at them. These are to construct a new detached dwelling with 9 variances, each one. They're here because the application was approved by the OMB, but the reason they're here is because they added 3 more variances. So 25 and 26, we'll consider them as en bloc if you like to have a motion on it.
Well,
yeah, please go.
Mr. Chair, I think given that this has gone to the OMB, I think it may be worthwhile to defer it at this point. Even then, they can come back in the future.
To defer.
As opposed to making a decision.
Okay, so you're asking for deferred for both of them because they're one agent. Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
that will be my motion.
Deferring
yes.
the application because an agent fails to attend, I feel is not appropriate because staff has spent a lot of time and money to send this notice out.
I think, Mr. Chair, also, if I can add, we are dealing with a backlog issue here, and so movement to defer things shouldn't be taken lightly at all. We're in a situation where we're doing catch up as well.
Yeah, Mr. Klassen, the idea here is that they didn't show up. We're allowed to make a decision, and I see your point here. Unfortunately, the problem here that they had so many beside the backlog. This item keeps back and forth. One to the very. If you're not agreeing with it, we can. It's up to us to agree or refuse it. So.
Mr. Chair, if Mr. Klassen made a motion for deferral, then we should deal with that motion.
Okay, since there is a motion here to defer, I like to entertain that one. Do I have a second on that one? No second. Okay, so let's go to the variances. I mean to the applications 25 and 26. Can I have a motion? Ms. Ankar?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I do see that there's no sort of staff report. There's no one here to speak to this. It had already gone through OMB, and there were 3 additional variances added. And looking at it from my own visual perspective and having read the application, I don't believe that it's something that I'm majorly concerned with. So with respect to application number 25 and 26, that's 93A and B Bogert Avenue, I'll put forward a motion to approve these applications and subject to forestry.
Both of them. Thank you. Second? Mr. Bartolo, second. All in favor? Thank you. Opposed? Okay, so Ms. Tarodi opposing, and the applications, both of them approved, and subject to forestry on both. Is that correct, Ms. Sankar? Forestry on both, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair and members, we can go back to item number 24.
I'm sorry?
I think we can go back to item number 24.
Oh,
I think
thank
the
you.
agent's here now.
Thanks for reminding me. Okay. Mr. Lorison, are you there? Mr. James
Can you hear me?
Lorison. Yeah?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. It says James Lorison. Are you...
This is Kim Lauritsen. I'm the owner of the property. James is my husband.
Okay. Could you please just state your name and address?
Yes, my name is Kim Lauritsen. It's number 33 Hewitt Avenue, Toronto, M6R1Y4.
Okay, you're the owner, and there is no other one registered here, just you. So let me see. The members, are you... do we need a presentation here? No. Can I have a motion? Ms. Atarodi?
Yes, this application is very straightforward, and through you, Mr. Chair, would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with no condition.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Sankar, all in favor? Okay, your application is approved and there is no condition.
Thank you very much.
Okay. 25 and 26. Okay, we have item number 27, to construct a new dwelling, 11 variances, staff report, to build in accordance with east and west elevation, forestry condition number 2 and 3. That's it. So we have here Mr. Jiango Chan, are you there?
Yes, I am here. My name is Zhongyu Chen, and then Bill will represent half of me.
Okay,
speak.
just a second. Yeah, do we hear you there? There's some problem there. Could you state your name and address, please?
Okay, so my name is Zhongyu Chen, JIONGYUCHEN.
Thank you.
And our project address is 343 MCKEE Avenue.
Thank you. Now we have two more speakers here, and we'll ask you to make a presentation of 5 minutes. Could you please start now?
Mr. Chairman, my name is Bill Ross, and I'm speaking for the architect here.
Oh, okay. Okay, Mr. Ross. Mr. Ross, could you please state your name and address? I know who you are, but we needed to state it because it has to be recorded on the system. Your name and address, please.
Bill Ross, number 9, Beswick Lane, Uxbridge, Ontario, L9P 1G4.
Thank you. And you're the agent for the application, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have two more. We have two more speakers here, and we need you to make a presentation, and we'll call you back after.
Okay.
So please.
We're looking to build a new.
So please go ahead.
Okay. Yes, we're looking to build a new single-family dwelling, and we're looking for some variances. We've dealt with staff, and they basically said all of the variances were asking for minor in nature. The reduced side yard setback wasn't an issue. None of these items were an issue. We dealt with whatever staff wanted us to deal with. The variances are mainly, I'll just read from the staff report because it explains very well what the concerns were. And in the second or third paragraph here, it says the basement floor is considered the first floor due to the height of the basement ceiling being closest to established grade. As a result, the main floor is considered to be the second story, and the second floor is considered to be the third. Due to the main floor being considered the secondary story, the proposed front and rear platforms are located at the main floor, defined as platforms above the second story. In order to ensure the third story variance remains technical in nature, staff recommend that the property be built substantially in accordance with the building section plan submitted to the Committee of Adjustment, attached as attachment number 3. And number 2 was to deal with the height. And staff said the majority of the height in the side exterior main walls facing the side lot line are measured from established grade to the underside of the eaves at 7.92 meters. In order to ensure that the proposal is constructed as shown, staff recommend that the property be built substantially in accordance with the east and west elevations of the drawings, as the drawing submitted to the Committee of Adjustment attached as attachments 1 and 2. And basically, all of the variances we have are due to those 2 items. And I'm not sure there's much else to say, but everything else is mine.
Well, if you have nothing to say. You know, Mr. Ross, could you please check your devices there because you're echoing. We have so much echoing here. Could you please check if your devices are okay? Because we hardly hear you.
Mr. Ross, it seems like you have at least two or three devices operating this meeting at once, and there's feedback on your end. So whether you're watching it on YouTube as well as on your laptop or something, it'd be best to mute one so we can just have only your voice.
So are we okay? Okay.
Mr. Chair, Member Bartolo has a question or a comment.
Okay, Mr. Bartolo, go ahead.
I'm ready for a motion there, Mr. Chair.
I think we have a couple more people to speak.
Oh, did we have? Never mind.
Yeah, we have a couple more people to speak, and then we'll get back the agent. And if you have questions, is that okay with you?
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, Mr. Ross, we have two more speakers. We're going to call them, and then we'll call you back to address their concern, okay? Haybin Chen.
Yes.
Okay, your name and your address, please.
Name is Haybin Chen, and the address is 8 Burnside Court, North York, M2N 6A1.
Thank you. Tell us what's your concern, and you're going to have maximum of 5 minutes.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so there are like two concerns I have. The main concern is for the number 11, the building height. So currently the building height, give me 1 second. The proposed building height is 9.36 meter, which is also higher than the maximum permitted building height, which is 8.8. So by the proposed building height, which means that will be total 30.7 feet height, and each floor there will be 10 feet. And also I can see all the dimension of the property is extended than the proposed than the permit the building requirement. So which means this will be a massive building in looks from my backyard. Yeah, because we are a neighbor and share my backyard fence together. So for such a massive building, like this, and then the borderline will be very close to my backyard fence. When I sit in the backyard, will be really depressing, and there could be the shade from the sunlight as well. Yeah, pretty much that's what I want to say. Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you. Hold a second. Any question for this gentleman? No? Okay, we have one more speaker. Rajnikant Vakani, are you there?
Rajnikant, you there? No, I don't have anything to say. Thank you. Don't unmute yourself.
Yeah, could you please state your name and address, please?
No, I have no concerns. Rajnikant Vakani.
Okay, so tell us.
No, not Lockeridge. 343. 341 McKee Avenue.
Okay, thank you. So tell us what your concern is.
No, I don't have any concerns at the moment. Thank you.
No? Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
All right, so Mr. Ross, I guess, yeah. Could you please address the concern of the Mr. Chen?
Yes, the reality is that we are asking for a little bit of extra length, but we're not coming beyond either house on either side. So if you look at the site plan, we don't go past the rear yard, the rear walls of the neighbors, so they were between the two houses. So we won't have any additional impact on the house to the rear. We have a long backyard. The lots are 170 feet deep. And as far as the height concern is that we comply with the new bylaw with the 10-meter height. And the heights regarding the old bylaw, it's a different grading situation. So we have a grade, and staff explains that in their staff report.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Questions?
Any questions?
Any questions? No, if not, a motion, Mr. Bartolo, you wanted to make a motion, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I will put forward a motion to approve this application, subject to the following condition: that the proposal be developed substantially in accordance with the east and west elevations and building section drawings submitted to the Committee of Adjustment as attachments 1, 2, and 3 of this report. I feel that these things are minor in nature, and with the old bylaw and the new bylaw, and the fact that we're only asking for an additional 56 centimeters in height, these are minor items, so I'll put forward a motion to approve.
And you okay with the forestry as well?
And yes, I'm okay with the standard conditions of forestry as per the memo.
Thank you. Second, Miss two together, Miss Sankara, Mr. Klassen. Second, all in favor? Okay, your application is approved, subject to that condition and subject to forestry. He's gone already, yeah? Item number 28, which is 57 Florence Avenue, to construct a new dwelling, 5 variances, staff report, refuse variance number 2 and variance number 5. 24 letters of support, forestry, condition number 2. So we have here Mr. Singh Barmi.
Jagdeep, yes.
Okay, can you please state your name and address for the records here?
Yes, my name is Jagdeep Barmi. I'm the applicant, the architect, and the homeowner for 57 Florence Avenue, Toronto, M2N1G1.
Okay, you're the only one here. Normally, we would ask if there is any, if they need a presentation, but can you make a comment on this, this refusal of the 2 variances?
Yes, I think the planning department's analysis with similar style properties is partial. They're recommending that the height be reduced to 8.2 meters under the new bylaw for property at 72 Johnston. It does not take into account the building height under the old bylaw, which is 9.27 and 9.4 meters, in addition to their higher established grade. Our house is pretty, the site is pretty flat, so that's actually raising the house, makes it appear, makes the house appear taller than it really is.
Yeah, so that's the explanation of what you're thinking because
according to my analysis, the proposal is not any taller than comparable houses. The building height, our building height is actually lower than the side main walls of recently approved on our street.
Okay, well, let's see what the members are saying. We have the staff report recommending refusal of these 2 variances. Let's see what the members are saying. Ms. Sankar, you had your hand up. Please go ahead.
No, it's just ready for a motion if there are no questions. I think that this is somewhere caught between old bylaw and new bylaw, and looking at it honestly, visually, I don't have a real problem with this at all. I do believe it meets the 4 tests. I'll put forward a motion to approve this application and make it subject to forestry.
Thank you. Second? Mr. Bartolo, second. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, 2 opposing and 2 for it. Yeah, I usually like to follow the staff reports because they did a very normal.
I can go over the entire
well, no, excuse me. We're in the middle of the
sorry.
Motion. We cannot discuss the application. So I'll. Okay, I will not go for the motion, and I'll need another motion. Can I have another motion, please? Ms. Sanka, Ms. Atarodi, or Mr. Klassen, any motion?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application and also change the modified variance number 2, the proposed height of the building to be read at 8.2 meter, and also variance number 5, also building height to be 8.2, but
8 what?
8.2 meters.
2 meters, thank you. Okay.
And subjected to forestry.
Thank you. Second, Mr. Klassen, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, so I'll go for the motion, and we'll approve the application subject to forestry and the changes that Ms. Tarodi made. Sir, your application is approved subject to those 2 changes. Do you want to hear them again, or you're okay?
No, I'm okay. I wish I had more chance to explain myself.
Okay, thank you. 29. Item 29, 182 Glengrove Avenue. We have to construct a new landing and stairs for the existing rear deck. 1 variance, staff report, condition per site plan. 2, 1.5 meter screening, and 2 letters of opposition. We have here 2, 3, 1, the agent and 2 speakers. Michael Laferniere, are you there, please?
I am, yes.
Okay, can you please state your name and address?
Michael Lafreniere, 951 Ossington Avenue, Toronto.
Thank you. We have 2 more speakers there for this application. So we'd like you to make a small presentation with a maximum of 5 minutes, please.
I think I can get under that number. There's a very small landing, 1.2 by 1.5 meters in the side yard in order to get off of a deck and out to the front yard. There's a very small staircase. The deck is 0.8 meters above grade. There's a bunch of reports which is indicating that this small platform will create some sort of a neighborhood precedent where everyone's going to build their decks up to the fences. I had a discussion with city staff, with Sheeran, and I think that the concern is very well covered in the staff report, which is to tie this 1.2 by 1.5 meter landing to plans and install a privacy screen, and there is already a privacy screen in place. So we're happy to move forward with the staff report. I'm happy to answer any questions. I think it's a pretty straightforward application. It's a very, very small landing in a side yard.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll bring you back after we hear from the other 2 speakers, okay? We have here Dalton Newcomb. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Can you please state your name and address?
Dalton Newcomb, 178 Glengrove Avenue West, Toronto, M4R 1P3.
So tell us, please, what's your concern?
My concern is I'm from the drawing that I'm looking at, the drawing I saw, I'm not sure whether they're indicating the stairs that go up to the landing or the landing itself. I don't believe they're indicating where the property, that they're actually building right to, no clearance of any kind to the property line, like not an inch back. And I don't believe they're indicating they show a planter of some kind, but that planter actually also goes up to the property line and is about 2 meters into the ground at that time, concrete wall. So there's a lot of stuff there, and this is all built. They built it 10 years ago. We complained at the time and we waited for the building permit to close, which is now, it's closing now for some reason. And so also there is one other issue. I do not believe that the current person applying for this variance is the owner of the home. The new owners of the home, there are new owners in the home in there, and I do not know whether this current person represents them and has legal authority with them.
Yeah, sir, just to let you know, whether they want to live in it or the owner, you know, we are here because of the variances. If the variances were not here, we won't be here. So please address the variances if you have any problem.
Okay, so I would say that if they would build back at least 6 inches from the property line, I would not have much of an issue. They need not build to the property line. They're counting on a fence that they have destroyed, remaining 8 inches onto my property. And that fence will have to be replaced because it is falling apart. And they're hoping that it gets built 8 inches onto my property still again. There's a retaining wall that which is pretty much all on my property that actually makes it difficult to build the fence on the retaining wall, but it could be half and half. So I would want them to put 6 inches distance, assuming that it isn't already built and they can't do that, but I bet they could move 6 inches away from the property line.
Okay, you finished, yeah?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, any question for this gentleman here? No? Okay, we have one more. We have one more speaker here. Francis Linsdale, are you there? Francis Linsdale, are you there?
Members of committee, I do not see a Francis, though there is a neighbor here that's registered. That might be them, so I'll unmute them and see if it's appropriate.
Okay.
Go ahead, Francis, if this is you.
Are you there, Francis? Anybody there?
I would say move on, Mr. Chair.
Sorry?
Does not appear to be that they're
It's
answering.
not up
no.
there. Okay. All right. It's not there. Okay. Mr. Laferriere? Lafreniere, could you please address those concerns?
Yes, I'm happy to address the concerns. So first of all, the planter, which is a very significant planter, has a very large hedge in it that provides enormous amounts of shading to the and privacy to the deck. So I don't think there's any privacy concerns. There's no variance for the stairs. The drawings were submitted for a staff review. Again, we're talking about a 1.2 meter wide landing to provide access to a small staircase so you can walk from the backyard to the front yard. And I think it's minor in nature. The city staff thought it was minor in nature, and they provided these 2 recommendations in order to make sure that it doesn't set a kind of precedent to the neighborhood of decks being too close to fences. And in this case, I don't feel like the deck is too close to the fence because it's not really the deck. It's a 1.2 meter wide, very small landing to provide partial access. It's all behind a fence. It's virtually unseen from any location. So I'm happy to proceed. If there's any questions about it, I don't want to waste anyone's time of anyone, but I'll answer questions if you have any.
Thank you. Any question? Mr. Klassen?
Yes, well, it's the same question that was asked, and so I'll repeat it for the applicant, but are there other ways to deal with this situation?
There's only access around this side. As the neighbor mentioned, the deck has been there for 10 years, and you know, certainly it would have been preferable to have gone down this route 10 years ago, and we probably could have provided the 6 inches. It was it was built by the deck installer. They just decided to add it at the time. And, you know, I think it's really doesn't really impact anything. It has a privacy screen and a planter on top of it as well. So there's also plants coming off the top of it. So it is highly private. It's really, in my opinion, a kind of technical variance because we are in the side yard, but it's really not the deck. It's I would consider it part of the staircase.
Any other question? So you're okay with the two conditions of the staff, aren't you?
Yes.
If no more question, can I have a motion, please? Ms. Sankar?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. You know, if there were encroachment issues, I know that would have to absolutely be dealt with the building department regardless, because it's not possible that it should be encroaching. So I will accept the explanations provided by the applicant here today, and I'll put forward a motion to approve this application. I'll make it subject to the staff recommendations of the September 25th staff report, such that the property be developed substantially in accordance with the site drawing submitted to the Committee of Adjustment, and that the applicant is to provide permanent opaque screening along the east edge of the proposed rear deck with a minimum height of 1.5 meters.
Thank you. Second? Mr. Bartolo, all in favor? Opposed? Wow. Okay. I think the so I agree with the motion, and the staff provided two recommendations, two conditions, which seem to address the problem, and I'll vote for the motion and will approve the application, subject to those two conditions. Okay, next. So your application is approved, subject to the staff conditions of the two. Number 30 was deferred. Number 31, 351 GREER Road is to construct a rear addition to the basement, main floor and second floor, 1 variance, 6 letters of support. So we have 31. There is no, just the agent. Mark Fraser, are you there, please?
Yes.
Okay, can you please?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, just state your name and address.
It's Mark Fraser, Fraser Homes Inc., 33 Chatfield Drive, M3B1K6.
Thank you. We have no more speaker on this one, just you. I'll see what the members want. Do we need any presentation for this? No? Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Tarodi?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. This is really straightforward, and I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with no condition.
Second? Ms. Tarodi to approve. Yeah, second, Ms. Sankar. All in favor? Okay. Your application is approved unanimously, okay?
Great, thank you very much.
That's 31. Item number 32, which is 40 Ballyronan Road, to construct a new dwelling, 3 variances, staff report, just a condition in accordance with site exterior wall and so on, 1 letter of objection, and we have here the agent. The agent is Laila Karam. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Please repeat your name and address for the record here, please.
My name is Leila Karamzadeh, and the address is 5409 Young Street, Unit 207.
206. Thank you. We have one more person here to speak, and therefore we may need your presentation. Could you hold 1 second, please? Can you check if this speaker is there? Grass Hall?
Mr. Chair,
Grace.
members, the speaker that is looking to contest from 48 Ballyronan Road is present.
Is present. Thank you. Okay, so we have one more speaker, and we'd like you to make a short presentation, and you have maximum 5 minutes. Please go.
So we basically started this project based on the neighborhood. We analyzed the design that has been done in the neighborhood because we wanted to make this project straightforward. So the adjacent building, 38 Ballyronan, has been approved in 2016 with 8 variances, including the 3 variances that we have. These 3 variances that they got approved, these 3 of them was even more than the one that we are proposing now. Mainly, we don't have main height variance. We just have side wall, and we worked on with the staff report, and we reduced these side wall heights based on the staff recommendation, and they convinced and they required us to attach 2 side elevations, north and south elevations. Also, we got 3 support letters from the neighbors, but unfortunately they were late. We got them 2 days ago, but it was at the 6th evening, and we couldn't ask to upload them. And that's it. This is very straightforward, just 3 variances, and we already met with the staff recommendation.
Are you finished? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, we'll get you back. We have one more resident here to speak. Grace Ho, can you please tell us if you're there?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you please state your name and address, please?
Okay. My name is Grace Ho. My address 48 Ballyronan Road, North York, M3B1V3.
You said 48 Ballyronan, right?
Yes.
48. Okay. So tell us what's your concern.
Okay. I talked to some of my neighbors, and then we all think that recently, like all the new houses, they build with variances that make them to build like over 4,000 square feet, big mansion, and then they just sell it not long after they build it, and then like we just thinking looks like this is the norm for people just come here, they like the builder, they make money, and then after that they sell the house. So so that is why I wrote a letter.
Okay. Are you finished? Yeah. Now, there is no bylaw prohibiting people from selling their house. Anybody can build and sell their house. Now, your question was the shadow. Are you speaking for yourself or for others, for the neighbors?
Actually, I speak like for myself, but I talk to them. They like we kind of have the same idea.
Well, you're 4 doors away, 4 buildings, 4 houses away at 48. How can the shadow affect you?
It's not the location. It's just if people just keep like they come, they buy property, and then they turn down the property, and then they build big mansion, and then just like it just the happening in this neighborhood, and then the people like the houses, like the older houses, like it's kind of dropping the older houses. Okay. And then my question is, if they kind of follow the bylaws and then build with the bylaws, is it still like building a decent house for a single family house?
Okay, I think I understand you. Let's see what other members are saying. Any question for this speaker? No? Okay, we'll get back Laila Karam. Could you please come back here, please?
So regarding to this neighbor, 48 Ballyronan, my client 2 days ago, she reached out to them. She was not at home, but she talked to her daughter, and my client wanted to explain that this is not a big variance. We are not asking much. Their opinion is very important for us. And my client left her number to her daughter in order that Grace talked to them and she explains.
Okay, any question for the agent here? If not, can I have a motion, please? Ms. Satarodi?
So, through you, Mr. Chair, I'm ready to put forward a motion to approve this application with the staff condition that the proposal be developed substantially in accordance with the side exterior main wire height shown on north and south elevation drawing attached to the report. And we don't have any forestry with no other condition.
No. Okay, thank you. Second, Ms. Sankar, all in favor? Okay, your application is approved unanimously, subject to the staff condition as mentioned, okay?
Thank you so much.
Item number 34, which is 110 Plateau Crescent. This is to construct a 2-story and 2nd-story addition to the existing dwelling, 7 variances. Staff report has 2 conditions and forestry condition number 2, and there is 2 letters of opposition. So 33, 34. Wow. Okay, 34, we have just one agent.
Good afternoon.
Miss,
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, could you please
Hello?
state your name and address, please? I know you said Go ahead.
Ida Evangelista.
Yeah.
Ida Evangelista, 53 Benchworth Avenue.
Thank you.
On behalf of the owners of 110 Plateau.
Thank you. I know you said your name today, but we need it for the record here.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we have no other speaker here except you. I'll ask the members, do you need a presentation? No? Okay. Any question or motion? Ms. Sankar? Ms. Sankar, go ahead.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. I'll put forward a motion to approve this application. I do believe that it meets the 4 tests, and I'll put forward a motion to approve it in accordance also with the conditions of the October 6th staff report, which states that the proposal be developed substantially in accordance with the front yard setback as shown in the site plan, as well as the proposal be developed substantially in accordance with the side exterior main wall height as shown on the north and south elevation drawings, and also subject to forestry.
Thank you. Second, Mr. Klassen, all in favor? Okay, your application is approved, subject to those conditions. Do you get them or you want me to repeat them?
No, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Item number 35, which is 16 VEERY Place. This is to construct a 1-story front addition, 1 variance, 18 letters of support, and staff report, just a condition. That's it. So we have one speaker here, and that is Mike De Oliveira. Mike De Oliveira, are you there, please?
Hi, yes, my name is Mike De Oliveira. I'm here representing 16 VEERY Place, and I work for Replacement Design located at 911 Davenport Road.
Thank you. So you're the only one registered here. Members, do we need a presentation? If not, can I have a motion, question or motion? Mr. Klassen, yeah?
Yes, this is clearly minor and it meets the for test. So I'd like to move to approve this application and make it also subject to the staff recommendation that the 10.03 meter front yard setback be exclusively for the proposed front one-story addition and as the site plan that's attached to the report.
Thank you, Mr. Klassen. Second, Ms. Sankar, all in favor? Okay, your application is approved, subject to the condition of the staff report as mentioned by Mr. Klassen. Okay?
All right, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Item 36, which is 162 Vermont Avenue, to construct a deck at the rear of the existing dwelling, 3 variances. Staff report provides permanent opaque screening, and that's all we have on this application. There is only one agent who is registered here, Mr. Francesca. Ms. Francesca
Yes.
Tisci, are you there? Could you please state your
Yes,
name
sir.
and address?
Sure, Francesca Tisci from Superdex Toronto, address 3330 Coroga Drive in Mississauga.
Thank you. You're the only one here. Let me ask the members, do we need any presentation? It's a straightforward. Can I have a motion, please? Miss Satarodi, please.
Okay, to you, Mr. Chair, as you mentioned, it's very straightforward. I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with the staff condition that the applicant is to provide permanent opaque screening along the east edge of the rear deck with a minimum height of 1.5 meter from the floor of the deck.
Thank you.
36 have no other condition.
No, that's it. Thank you. Second.
Do
you have second? Mr. Klassen, second. All in favor? Okay, unanimously. So your application.
Can I do a clarification before?
It's all approved. Do you want us to reopen it again?
I just wanted to do a clarification regarding variance number 1.
No, I don't think. Yeah? I don't think so, because you have your application. You submitted the variances. It has been approved. I don't see any reason to reopen it.
Okay, sure.
This is unusual. Okay. 37, which is 3995 Kill. Then there is Stanley Green, and we have here to permit the creation of 4 residential units and 1 variance, the number of units. Okay, so that we have number 37. We have just one person here registered, which is Diana Mercier. Miss Diana Mercier, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Just state your name and
wonderful.
address.
My name is Diana Mercier of Hunter & Associates, and the address is 15 Riverview Drive, Unit 503, and the postal code is M3C1Y8.
Thank you. Now,
I have a correction on the public notice, though. The variance should be for 3 additional units, not 4.
No, I understand.
So there should be a reduction of 1.
I understand that. Yeah, I understand that. What you actually asking for to add 2 units in building A and 2 units in building C. However, you're allowed 1,102 units, and we have and you're asking for only 1,105, which results in 3 additional ones. But basically,
exactly.
Okay, all right. So let's see. We have no more speakers here. Only the agent. Do I have any question for this speaker? No. Can I have a motion, please?
Oh.
Mr. Klassen, yeah? Mr. Klassen, did you have your hands up? I don't hear it.
Mr. Klassen, you're muted.
Yeah, you're muted, yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry about that. I did have a question. Just I see that there are 2 previous committee of adjustment decisions on file here. So I'm just trying to understand the connections between those and the current one.
Okay, so can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, so the other variant pertained to the RM522 subcategory of bylaw 1632-213. The Stanley Green District bylaw is a comprehensive one that covers multiple properties, and each property is subject to a subzone. This particular site is subject to RM522 zone. The Stanley Green was subject to minor variances back. The last one, I believe, was in 2018. This particular, and it allowed for 450 to 480 units. The units within this particular development block are 474, so we're well within the variances provided per the approval in 2018. However, what has happened is they've gone through the working drawings. An opportunity presented itself to perhaps pull the floor area over the ceiling of the amenity, which was a double height, and offer 2 additional units, which came up to 4 units on the, or actually 3 additional units on the ground floor, and therefore triggered a variance for the comprehensive bylaw, not the RM522. So the the 1632-213 bylaw is the one that's being varied here, the cap for the entire district, if that helps you.
You're okay? If you're okay, any other question to the speaker? If not, can I have a motion, please? Ms. Sankar? Oh, wait. 2 at the same time.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. I'll motion to approve this application.
Okay. Second, Mr. Bartolo, all in favor? Okay. Your application is approved unanimously, okay?
Thank you very much.
Okay. Item 38, which is 480 Coldstream Avenue, to construct a new dwelling, 11 variances. Staff report to eliminate variance number 6 related to side yard setback, east side yard setback, and eliminate number 7 for the BGG, below grade garage. And those are per applicant agreement, if not to refuse the application. Forestry 2 and 3, and letters of support from 5 households. And here we have 38. The agent is Richard Idels, are you there?
I'm here, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, could you please repeat your name and address, please?
Richard Idels, OAA, 80 North Meadow Crescent, Thornhill, Ontario.
Thank you. We have.
I would also.
Yeah.
Could could I just ask that there was another request for to be here, but she is together with me in the room. Is she allowed to? We allowed to share the same phone? That's what I'm asking.
Well, if you decide who wants to speak, you or her, or you share it the 5 minutes between the two of you. So,
okay, 5 minutes between the two of us.
So you decide who wants to speak.
Yeah.
Who wants to speak first, and I put you for 5 minutes here.
Okay, so first of all, it's correct that we dealt with the planner closely, and to try to we always try to bring the variances as close as we can. I just want to point out, number 6, it was not everything that was eliminated. It was only the east side yard setback, which was eliminated. But the other two are remaining. The side yard setback is 1.2, but I think that's clear. It's just perhaps the way that Mr. Chairman had mentioned it. Not all of 6 is eliminated, but 1 out of the 3, which is eliminated. Which 2? Yeah, there's 2 that are remaining. Out of the 3 variances, 2 that are remaining.
Okay, Mr. Idels, I would just want to make clear what is the changes you're making. The variance number 6, it says east side yard setback. That was the recommendation of the staff report. What are you doing? Are you okay with that?
That's correct. No, we're agreeing with that. I just wanted to clarify it.
That's all there is. And then the variance number 7 eliminated, which is the BGG. Is that okay?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, so please go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, on
I
variance number
just
6.
want to point,
Mr. Chairman, variance number 6, he's removing the east side yard variance and keeping the west?
Yes, east side yard setback only to be eliminated.
And the west is staying?
Yes, yeah. And number 7 for the below grade garage is eliminated. So please go ahead.
I just want to mention that, first of all, in the length that a certain percentage of the total amount of length is really due to projections in the front and the back that are not noticeable, that are very little bit, like, for example, the rear projection is within the deck. And in other words, anyone sort of looking at the house wouldn't feel like he's got a 19.95 meter long house. And there's also in the front, part of the, where we're projecting the front door out a bit. So yeah, it's just part of the canopy that's also included in the length, where really the house length it would really be. I'm not disputing the variance. I'm just saying in real life, it's really 17.98, really just like 18, just a little less than 18 meters. The variances do read more, 19.95, because of those projections. So I just want to make that to understand that. The other thing I'd like to speak about is the so that's the length. What else do we want to speak about? And the projections. Oh yeah, the height. The variance number 8. Yeah, where the exterior main walls are where we're asking for 8.09, but again, it's a little bit of a technical thing that really around the house we don't have. I mean, in these walls we don't have more than 7.8. And again, we're not disputing anything. We're just trying to make clear to the committee that we weren't really asking for 8.09, but a very small, part of the projection, like it's like less than 1% of the total projection goes up higher. So it bumps it up to 8.09 from 7.5 when 99.99 percent of that of the height is really it's still above. We're still asking for variance, but it's only 0.3 more, and it's not as much as the actual variance says. I think that's basically all I have to say, just as a way of an explanation.
Thank you. Do you still want to share it with somebody else, because you have 3:47 minutes?
Yeah, I would like to participate. My name is Monika Kucharska, and I think I was registered. Do you see me?
What do you want to add? You have 1 more minute to go.
Yeah, just wanted to say that all those additional encroachments on the length, depth, and height of the wall came from the fact that we had designed bay windows And those bay windows were not interpreted as bay windows, either due to the fact that they were not classical bay windows, there was not enough glazing in them on the sides or in the front because they were technically touching the ground through the sort of a sun grill we have designed as a front canopy. It has a projection, it has a pilaster on the right side. You see it on the model drawings, that page first of our submission. And you see very clearly how those bay windows had not been interpreted as bay windows, and that's how we incurred the variances that we're kind of not anticipating in our design.
Okay. Yeah, you're close to your 5 minutes, and
We're done. We're done.
You're done. Yeah, you're perfect on 5 minutes. Now let me see. What do we have here? We have one more speaker. K. Luke Richard Ho. Are you there?
Mr. Chair and members, that was Kay speaking just now.
That was what?
That was, the second speaker was in fact Kay speaking.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, she said area residence. Okay, so it's finished. Mr. Richard Iders, did you want to add something?
No, I'd just like to add that we believe that they are minor, and we work hard to try to make them that way, and we hope that the committee will give us all due consideration.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any questions for this speaker or motion? Mr. Bartolo?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will put forward a motion to approve this application subject to the changes that we heard here. That's variance number 6, that the proposed side yard setback was .17 meters. That is eliminated on the east side, and then variance number 7 be eliminated complete. And I will make it subject as well to the conditions of the forestry memo.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Sankar, all in favor? Opposed? Opposed? I am missing one. All in favor? Okay, thank you. Unanimously approved based on those conditions. You want me to?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee. We appreciate it.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I wonder if I could ask if there's an interest on the part of members for a little break for a couple of minutes.
Recess. Okay. So we'll have.
A little recess.
Okay. So how about 10 minutes? 10 minutes. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
10 minutes. Thank you. It's a good suggestion.
Thank you.
I forget when I want to go, I have to put my mask. You're doing okay? I said, if we're doing it too much, if we're doing it fast, we can't even give up more applications. No. We have to slow down. Yeah.
We only have 5 more items, right?
Not bad, huh?
Well, we'll see. The last one looks.
Yeah, last one's took a little bit involved, huh?
Yeah. I hope it's not too involved.
No, I think it is. They have 6 or 7 people to speak.
Maybe they'll get bored.
Or I hope they won't show up. It's too late for them.
Some people, they just don't want to stay that long.
Yeah. So this is Richard Inez is gone. So what we did 38, right? We did 38. Now it's 39, huh? Yeah, but we're starting with the people who want to speak. Like, well, like Kelly said, the last one is going to be a murder. Last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 speakers. Adam, make sure they don't show up. Tell me. I wish it was up to me, huh? You let me know when we're ready, huh?
Okay, good. Good, that's good.
$39.
Members, we'll look to get started here in a moment.
Well, they're not here yet.
We'll just we'll be starting here in a moment, members.
You let me know, Adam. I think they're here, huh? Yeah, all of them are here. $39, right? Okay, item number 39, which is 548 Old Orchard Road, Grove. New dwelling, 11 variances. Forestry condition number 3, and a late letter of support. We have here Mr. Glenn Robinoff. Could you please tell us if you're there?
Good afternoon. Yes, it's Glenn here.
Yeah, so tell us your name again and your address.
Sure. It's Glenn Rubinoff, Rubinoff Design Groups, Design Group, 697 Mount Pleasant Road.
Okay, we have 2 more people are registered to speak, and therefore we need a small presentation. You have 5 minutes, and I'm going to start the clock right now.
Okay, thank you. Yes, this is an application for a new home on Old Orchard. The variances before you is a mix of old bylaw and new bylaw. There is some grading that takes place on the property, which has some impact on the variances, especially under the old bylaw. But many of the variances that we're requesting are typical of what's been approved on the street and in the area. We did include a map of comparables when we submitted package to you, and some example elevations as well. The variances for side yard. This is a 40-foot lot. The zone is it's zoned for for it's a 50-foot frontage requirement. So this is effectively a 40-foot lot, and typically 4 feet is what we work with when we work with a lot this size. The existing house right now is about 1'6" from the side property line. So obviously it's improving the distance between, I guess it's 550 and 548. There is a letter that was submitted late from the neighbor on the other side, 546, letter of support. They had no concerns. There's no staff report. Staff didn't feel that this was out of character with the area, and that they felt that the variances requested were in keeping. There are variances for lot coverage, of which we're at 36.7%, and there are similar coverages approved in the area. There's some variances related to height of main floor. If you look at the front elevation of the building, you'll see that the grade is taken from the neighbor's property on both sides, which dips down. So if the front elevation is put up, you can see that there's a bit of a rise, but the height is actually taken from the lower area. That contributes partially to that. In terms of, so that affects the overall under the new bylaw, but also the old bylaw, it's taken from the road, which is about 80 centimeters difference from the road to the midpoint of the roof. So we do have height variances. Some of it, like I said, if you see the center line of the road indicated on this, it's 99.97. And then there's the average grade, but you see how it steps up by where the stairs are. But where it's lower on the sides, that's where the actual height is taken to the porch, to the steps, to the wall, everything in that nature. The height of the exterior main front walls is taken to the top of the windows. The actual eaves height is less. It's only at 7.8 to the underside of the eaves for the majority of the roof. I know it's a number of variances, but I believe that they are consistent with redevelopment, and this type of home in this area is very much in keeping. Both adjacent homes are newer homes, and there are several on the street with similar with height variances, coverage variances in side yards and such. So I'll leave it there. I just wanted to give you an overall outline of it. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll bring you back after we hear from the other speakers. Mr. David Hurstein, are you there? Mr. David Hurstein.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he just.
Thank you. Can you please state your name and address for the records here?
David Hurstein, 550 Old Orchard Road. So our main concern is with the closeness to our property. And while it's true the current property is 1 foot thick, it's also a much lower property. So our hope is that we can just move it a little bit further away.
Mr. Hurstein, you're cutting off a little bit. Could you please speak to the microphone? It's cutting off.
Yeah, can you hear me better now?
A little bit better, yeah.
Can you hear me better now?
Please go ahead.
Yeah, so as I said, our concern is the 1 foot thick, although the property really needs to be taken in conjunction with the extra height. What that's doing is creating, I guess, less light coming in towards our side of the building. So we'd like some relief from that, so it's not so close to the 550 building. And as you mentioned, there's an awful lot of variances on this application that sort of together end up creating a concern for us in terms of space between our section and their section in terms of light going in.
That's it?
The other concern is just the overall height, that it is not in character with the building next to it, so a little tower over. And the other one is in the backyard. There seems to be a rather large tall deck in comparison to most of the others, so it will be peering over into our property. And that's it.
That's it. Okay, any question for the speaker? No? Okay, we have one more speaker here. Mr. Robert Weinberg.
Mr. Chair and members, Mr. Robert Weinberg is not on the call.
Okay, he's not in, huh? Well, Mr. Weinberg just sent a letter that was just posted on the 14th, which he supports the application. So let's go back to the agent. Mr. Robinoff, could you please address the concern of Mr. Ernstein?
Thank you. I understand the concern. The existing house right now, as I mentioned on that side, on the west side, is currently 0.45 meters. We're proposing at 1.2 meters, where the requirement is 1.8 meters. The neighbor at number 550 is at 1.35 meters, is where his house is located. If you look at the survey, it indicates that. So we're increasing the distance away from his house. That's the site plan. If there's a survey, if you have that as well. But the, yeah, there. If you zoom in a little bit, you can see So we are definitely improving the distance away from the neighbor, from 550. But I understand the concerns. He's at 1.35 meters, if you see the number above the porch there. My suggestion is, if it pleases the committee, that we adjust our side yard to 1.35 to match the neighbor's side yards. That way, it's the same effectively on that side. The other side, 546, they had no concerns expressed, and they submitted a letter. Maybe they wanted to speak in support, I don't know, but I do know that we always want to get along with neighbors any way we can. So to have a comparable setback to 550, I don't think would be of a grave concern for us.
Okay, is it change that you're making?
Yes, so that's what I'm saying. So for the west side yard setback, variance number one.
Which one, yeah, to how much? 1 point what?
1.35 for the west side yard setback.
1.35. Okay, thank you.
And just to remind the committee that the planning department did not comment on this file because it is a 40-foot lot.
Okay.
The other thing he mentioned was a concern about the deck in the back. It's a covered porch, but if you look at the site plan, you'll see that the house is a little bit shorter. It's not quite as the proposed house is not quite as long as the adjacent house of 550. It is a covered porch, but it's open on the sides. It's not. There's no second floor or anything. It's just and some of the height related comes from the topography.
Yeah.
All right, so that's all I really wanted to address.
Thank you. Any question to Mr. Rubinov? Ms. Sankar, Ms. Attarodi, could you please?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. That would actually, the variance number one was my question, because I believe the 1.22, that now one of them west side is 1.35, is still not enough. And also, I still have a concern regarding the variance number 7, which is a lot coverage of 37% versus 30%. So if Mr. Robinoff can answer, or
Sure. 36.7%, not 37. That's what I have in mind. Yeah. I mean, I've looked at what the coverages have been granted in the area, and 36% is generally approved. I think by narrowing the house a little bit, it will bring it down to about 36. But that's kind of what this street seems to support. We've seen it several times. Just literally a kitty corner at the corner of what's that street? Caravan Street, 538 has 36%. There's quite a few on this street and in the area. We recognize that by narrowing the house, it'll bring the coverage down a bit. But we feel that we're not pushing, with any variance related to length. So the impacts are not felt particularly by the coverage, the same as perhaps it might be on a shorter lot, something.
Okay.
The side yard setback, I understand the concern about the side yard setback. I was just trying to point out that there are several homes in the area that do have 1.2 meter variances requested. If it pleased a member to increase that, on that one side to 1.5, I'm fine with that. In fact, I'll make that change now. We're trying to, because it will reduce the coverage. It's still something we can manage, but that has been several times in this area been improved with one side at 4 feet and one side at 5 feet. So
Okay,
west side yard setback to adjust it to 1.5.
So which one?
Okay.
Which one you change to 1.5?
West side yard setback, variance number 1 to 1.5
instead of 1.35, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that will bring the coverage down.
1.5.
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable, yeah. And by reducing that, it will reduce a little bit the coverage, and you said it will be 36?
Whatever that ends up being, it'll be close to 30. It'll be just probably around 36 or just slightly under. Okay.
Yeah, so you want to change that to 36?
I'll just make it 36, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So change the coverage to 36 and the site back to 1.5 meters. Are you
Yeah.
okay, Ms. Atarodi, or you want some more explanation?
Well, thank you for explaining, for the change and explanation.
Thank you. Any other question? Okay, if not, can I have a motion, please? Ms. Sankar?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. I do believe the explanations provided by the applicant here today, I do believe that this isn't fitting with the character of that specific neighborhood. And so I didn't have a problem with it before, but now that the changes were made, I will accept those as well. So I'll put forward a motion to approve this application with the changes to variances number 1, that the proposed west side yard setback is now increased to 1.5 meters. And variance number 7, the maximum, the lot coverage is now at 36%. It will be subject to forestry.
Thank you. Second. Mr. Klassen, second. All in favor? Opposed? Ms. Satarodi opposing, and your application is approved subject to those 2 conditions. Do you want me to repeat them?
No, I understand.
You're
Thank you
okay.
very much.
And forestry. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Number 40, item number 40, which is 295 Elm Road. This is to construct a new detached dwelling, 7 variances. Staff report has 2 conditions: to develop in accordance with the north and south side elevation drawings, and 2, provide permanent materials, permeable materials for the driveway. And we have here Sanaz Nouri, the agent.
Yes.
Are you there?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm here.
Okay, could you please just state your name and address for the records here?
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Sanaz Nouri, and I'm the agent representing this project on behalf of the owner. And my address is 220 Duncan Mill Road, Unit 406, North York, Ontario, and the postal code is M3E 3J5.
Thank you. We don't have anybody else registered there. I want to ask the members, anyone needs a presentation? No? Okay, so any question or motion? Can I have a motion? Ms. Sankar?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, I believe that this does meet the 4 tests to my knowledge, and having reviewed the application, I will make it subject to the September 25th staff report, in that the property be developed substantially in accordance with the north and south side elevation drawings submitted to the committee, as well as permeable materials are to be used for the proposed driveway.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it,
There
right?
is no other.
Yeah.
Thank you. A second? Ms. Satarodi, all in favor? Okay. Your application is approved unanimously, subject to those 2 conditions, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee.
Okay. Item number 41, which is 153 Glencairn Avenue. This is to construct a 3rd store addition and 2nd floor interior alterations, 2 variances. And that's it. We have just one speaker here, which is the agent, Mr. David Eagleman. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Sir Chair.
Okay, could you please just state your name and address?
Yes, good afternoon, Sir Chair and fellow committee members. My name is David Eagleman. I am the authorized agent on behalf of the applicant. I work as a planner for Design Plan Services, Inc., 900 the E Small Suite 300, M9B6K2.
Thank you. We have no more speakers there, just you. Members, do we need any presentation? I don't think so. So, do I have a motion or Ms. Atarodi?
To you, Mr. Chair, I think this is a very straightforward application, and I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application.
Thank you. Second, Mr. Klassen, all in favor? Okay, your application is approved, Mr. Eagleman. No conditions.
Thank you. Thanks.
Item number 42, which is 383 Melrose Avenue, to construct a new dwelling, 13 variances, staff report condition. The condition is for permanent opaque screening, and that's it. We have here the agent and two more speakers. Nafish Zagibadi. I hope I'm pronouncing Zanjibagi, could you please tell us your name?
Yes, Mr. Chair, my name is Nafisa Zangiobadi.
And
my address is
your address, please.
30 Apple Orchard Path, Thornhill, Ontario L3TP6.
Thank you. We have two more speakers there. So could you please make a small presentation with a maximum of 5 minutes?
Yes, this is an application to construct a new two-story dwelling. The variances that we're asking is most of them related to the side yard setback. Because of the frontage of the lot, which is 25 foot, the permit is 1.8, but we're asking for 0.9 on each side and 0.6 on the other side. Which is very common in the area. Our neighbor, the west, has the same setback, 0.09. And our neighbor to the east, which is the church, they're about 20 foot away from the property. And so the same variance applies to the deck and the porch. And the staff recommended that we use the opaque screen for the privacy reason, which we are okay to do that. And we have the variance for the established grade, which is just nominal 1.21 instead of 1.2. And the same for the deck. And the other variance that we have is the height, which is measured to the underside of the gable on top of a window, whereas our height to underside of the eave is 7.99 meters. So it's way less than what is measured on the notice. And we have the length variance, which is 18.21, exact same as our neighbors to the west, and our neighbor, the other neighbor, which is the church, they're about 25 foot further at the back. So the length variance also doesn't affect any of our neighbors. And then it's the variance of the coverage, almost 1.7 more than permitted. It's very common in the North York area, or where 32% is easily approved. And then the two other that relates to the old bylaw in terms of the height are due to the difference between the established grade and the center line of the road. Whereas we comply with the height under the new bylaw. We also have a letter of support from our neighbor to the west, and which I uploaded on the website. And the staff thinks that this application is compatible with the neighborhood, and just recommended to have that privacy screen, which we're okay with that.
That's it. Okay, so we have two more speakers, and we'll get back to you. Miss Sharon Miller, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, so please state your name and address, please.
Sharon Miller, 458 St. Germain Avenue, Toronto, Ontario, M5M1X1.
Thank you. Tell us what's your concern, please.
So I'm concerned about the general height of the house because they're calling it a two-story when actually it's a three-story because they're not taking into account the landing as the first story. And the result is the deck at the back is now very high. It's 8 feet. And when I look into the property from my house, I'm looking at a basement that is partly above ground. and an 8-foot deck. So I just think it's just too much.
Okay, that's it.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, any question for this speaker? No? Okay, we'll get to the next speaker, which is Nima Gilampour. Nima Gilampour. Gilampour.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Could you please state your name and address, please?
Nima Gilampour, 456 St. Germain Avenue, M5M1X1.
Thank you. Tell us what's
so-
your concern.
My general concern is the same. The deck is quite high, and also the overall height of the building is above usual for what's there currently. So it'd overlook into my property.
That's it. Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Any question for this gentleman? No. So we'll have the agent coming back and to address those concerns. Okay. Okay. The agent Nafish Zangiaba,
Yes.
please come back and.
Yes. As for the concern of the neighbors for the height, I would say this building, as per zoning, is considered a 2-story. So it complies with the definition of the 2-story, it's not a 3-story building. And we don't have any height variance. As you know, the height under the new bylaw is 10 meters, which complies with that. And the height that we have for the old bylaw is just because of the change of the grade. So we're not going over what is permitted in the area. We're not even asking for a height variance. And for the deck, I think it was because of that little height that staff asked us to use a privacy screen, which we will do. So that would, I believe, respond to concern of the neighbors of overlooking the deck to their properties.
Any other question? No. Can I have a motion, please? Anyone? Mr. Klassen?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Klassen.
yes. So I do think these are minor variances, and so I'll move to approve the application and make it also subject to the staff recommendation of September 25th that there be permanent opaque screening along the east edge of the proposed porch and also along the west side of the proposed deck with a minimum height of 1.5 meters from the floor of the platforms.
1.5 meter. Thank you. Second, Mr. Bartolo, all in favor? Okay, unanimously approved. Oh, opposed? Oh, Ms. Sankar opposing, sorry. Okay, so your application is approved, subject to the staff condition of the screening, okay?
Okay, thank you.
It's item 43, which is one in a small place to construct a new dwelling. We have 7 variances. Staff report eliminate variance number 2. And transportation report no objection. Forestry condition number 2, and 1 letter of support from number 3, which is next door. We have here just the agent, Mr. Ronan Zahi. Are you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, can you please state your name and address, please?
Yes, my name is Royan Jai, and address is 14 Malabar Place, North York.
Okay, we don't have any other speaker except you. Let me ask, do we need a presentation? No?
Yes, actually, we were in the committee.
Excuse me, we're in committee. We don't ask you yet. Members, we need any presentation?
Yes, please.
Okay, So we need a presentation. You have 5 minutes, so please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Actually, we were in the committee of adjustment in August 20th. We present the proposal and there was no objection, neither from the committee nor from the neighbors. We do have one support from the very next door, which is number 3 and small, the support. The only reason we get deferred is because of transportation department. They asked for more information regarding of the curbs location and the size. So we did provide it and we got updated report after, which they have no objection of the variance. So I'll briefly go through all items quickly and just to refresh your memory. So the first one is the coverage. After we talked to the city planner, we listened to them and respect the comments, which in the very beginning we reduced from 34% to 32%. So it stays the same. Number 2 and number 7 is regarding the height. One is from Toronto, one is from North York. So there are a few reasons which we improved the height restriction. Number 1 is because if you look at the site plan, the north elevation, we can see there's a big slope from west to the east. Especially at the east side, there's a big drop, which creates nearly 1 meter's difference. I wouldn't say this is dramatic, but if you divide it by 2, it's enough to give us extra nearly 50 centimeters on top of our building height. So if you imagine if there was no slope and if the lot is flat, so our height would be below 10 meters already. So that is one of the reasons. Another one is because this family is a growing number of 6. So they have 4 big boys. They're all very tall and they are growing taller day by day. Especially their father, the height is 6.5 feet tall. So for the family of 6, it's all high, they're all very tall, so they require a little bit high ceiling compared with other families. So the third reason is also related to the pandemic. Because of the COVID, all the 6 members, they have to stay at home, study and work. So it's created very crowded and overwhelming atmosphere. So that's why we're trying to help to improve the situation. We give them an extra office for the parents and an extra study room for the boys. So as well as a little bit high of the ceiling. So so we would hope this can improve the situation.
Okay. Are you through or you want to say some more?
Pardon me?
Are you finished?
Not yet. So I will quickly go through number 4 and 5, which is very minor, we believe, in the spirit. And number 6, which related to the report of transportation, which they have no objection. So that's all of the 7 variants. We hope the committee can consider to approve our proposal. Thank you.
Okay. Any question? Yeah, Ms. Atarodi.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I would like the applicant clarify. She mentioned that the lot coverage, the variance number 1, the lot coverage, they reduce it to 32%. So I just want to ask her to clarify: is it 32% or 32%? 32.16%.
Oh, sorry, it's 32.16. My mistake. Apologize.
Okay.
Means that you didn't do any modification in terms of any variance at this point, correct?
No.
Not at this point, but from the early beginning, after we talked to the paper, we reduced.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Any other question? Can I have a motion then? Ms. Sankar?
Through you, Mr. Chair, you know, I'm inclined to want, in this case, to respect the staff report. So I'll put forward a motion to approve this application, but I'm going to respect the comments made on the August 10th of this year's staff recommendations that variance number 2 is going to be refused and the proposal be developed in substantial accordance with the front yard setback as seen on the site plan drawing, and it will be subject to forestry.
Thank you. Second? Mr. Klassen, all in favor? Opposed? Oh, Ms. Sataro, you had your hand, yeah? Okay, so 3 okay, and opposed? Mr. Bertolo is opposing, and the application has been approved subject to those conditions. Do you want me to repeat the conditions or you're okay?
Sir, I just want to confirm, is the number 2 eliminated?
Well, yeah, number 2 has been eliminated, and there is the condition to develop in according to the setback per site plan.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Okay. Here is the winner. Item number 44, which is 91 DONWOODS Drive. This is to construct a new dwelling. The application was deferred on August 6. Okay, so we have 11 variances, staff report to develop in accordance with the building length and building depth. TRCA report, no objection. And we have 10 neighbors opposing the application. Now, we have here Mr. Jonathan Benskowski. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, first, tell us your name, please, and your address.
Jonathan Benskowski, 301 Kewanton Avenue.
Okay, this application was deferred in August 6 in order to meet with the TRCA and the residents. Now we have 10 neighbors oppositions. Most of them claim that there was no connection, no discussions. Could you please explain us, after we deferred it, what's going on? I'll give you 5 minutes for your presentation, and I'll start it right now.
Yes, first, we did confer with the TRCA. As you can see, the TRCA is now okay with what is being proposed. In terms of the consultation with the neighbors, myself and the representative of the neighbors had a little bit of trouble connecting over the past 3 weeks or so. We just weren't really able to get together at a time and discuss things. We actually did have a discussion this morning. Finally, we weren't able to come to any type of a resolution in terms of the variances itself. It's still my opinion as a planner that this is an appropriate development for the site with the variances as they are today. So to address the conditions of that staff report you did speak of, Mr. Chair, the timing of the approval to the site plan being with the building length and the depth is directly related to where this property is being appropriated, as well as the angle of DONWOODS at this site itself as where it's angling up and where we're interpreting building length and building depth from. The proposed building is in fact in line with the existing dwelling to the west. As DONWOODS continues to move away in a kind of northeastern pattern, the staggering of that required front yard setback is partly what creates this variances itself. As the staff report indicates, we would have no issue tying any approval to the site plan that has been submitted and is before you today if you were to deem this to be a meritorious application. To look at the variances itself, I'm going to try to look at the platforms as well as the side yard setback requests as one, because they really are interrelated, as the proposed platforms are in line with the proposed setbacks that are before you today. So the appropriateness of this 1.22 meter side yard setback, and maybe Adam, if we could go to the survey or to my proposed site plan on the screen. So this proposed 1.22 meter setback matches the existing side yard setbacks of both the dwellings to the east as well as to the west. Number 89 to the west has an existing 1.22 meter side yard setback, as well as number 93 have an existing 1.26 meter side yard setback. The appropriateness of this development will match what is currently on both of the adjacent dwellings. This also basically ties directly to the eve encroachment variance that is before you today, as eaves are a common feature throughout dwellings. So it would tell us that if the existing dwellings on the east and the west have similar side yard setbacks as the one that is before you today, we would see a similar eve encroachment as to what is there today. And if we could just quickly go to the photo book of my supporting material, Adam.
It's on its way.
Thank you. So here we see the existing dwelling in the middle. If I look at this, really the appropriateness of the development to bring these dwelling more in line with what is there is really what we should be evaluating today. These are extremely large and deep lots. That ties directly to the length and the depth variance that is before you today. So the zoning bylaw itself really isn't written for every piece of land within the city of Toronto. The zoning bylaw is really designed for the typical 30.48 meter or 100-foot deep lot. From this, we get the zoning bylaw requirements for a typical 6-meter front yard setback, a 17-meter building length, and a 7.5-meter rear yard setback. That more or less adds up to that 100 feet. In this case, there's an understanding that on a lot that is as deep as number 91 Donwoods, being 51.09 meters, or 167 feet 6 at its shallowest point at the rear, there is an ability to appropriately have a dwelling that exceeds the 17 meters building in length. This has been written in numerous TLAB decisions throughout time, which addresses really the appropriateness of a deep lot and where that house is situated on it. Lastly, in terms of the massing of the development itself, and Adam, if you could please go to the next page within here. Sorry, one more, Adam. Thank you. So what we've done here is we actually had the surveyor go out with the clinometer and gauge the existing roof heights of both adjacent dwellings. I think that's important here because the massing has been some of the concerns of some of the neighbors. So on both adjacent dwellings, you'll see we had the surveyor actually go out to get us the top of the roof peaks for both. And if we could just go to the last page within this, Adam.
Okay, I think you're over your 5 minutes already, and
I have one just quick photo that could show.
Please summarize.
So basically what that is that's the product of what we've done to show the massing of where it sits on the street adjacent to both dwellings, when in fact the top of the roof peak of the proposed dwelling is below both adjacent dwellings' existing heights. Okay. And then I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Yes, we'll bring you back after we hear from the other speakers, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, we have here Mr. Peter Higgins. Are you there? Peter Higgins, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so please, we know who you are, but we need you to state your name and address for the records as being recorded on the... Yeah.
Peter James Higgins of Peter Higgins Architect Incorporated, 124 Merton Street, Suite 204, Toronto, Mary 4, Sam 2, Zebra 2.
Thank you. So you have your 5 minutes, and please tell us the concern.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chairman, representing Keith and Lawrence Senders, who live at number 93 Donwoods Drive, which is immediately to the east of 91 Donwoods. I can't state enough that there has been no effort whatsoever since the August 6th deferral by the neighbor to reach out and offer anything in order to save a very amazing, beautiful, mature, good condition sugar maple that's 52 centimeters in diameter. Their site plan simply says tree to be removed. It is a boundary tree. It's really smack in the middle. It is an absolutely gorgeous tree, especially this time of year. It's important for my neighbors, my clients, particularly with a new house to be built at number 91, that this tree stays in place to mitigate the size of the proposed new house. And when I say nothing's been done, it was very clear, and the planner who spoke earlier, Jonathan, was very aware that we wanted to save the tree and we would go to court to save it. I suggested that there was a plan that could be just as deep with more variances that my clients would support, but it had to protect the tree. I gave him a site plan that would show how to do that. I'm not trying to be their architect. They already have one. However, we were told after August 6th and just today that there's no going to a new design. The client wants it the way it is. Tough luck, essentially. I'm an experienced architect, as I believe this committee knows. I've designed over 35 homes in Hawks Hollow, and I've designed countless homes where we've had to work around trees on our properties, trees on neighbors' properties, or boundary trees. This is one of those situations where they could do a great job. They could get this through without a court case, without a PLAB appeal, if they simply allowed some flexibility. One suggestion was to move the house slightly further forward, which would create a front yard setback. We believe both neighbors would support that, particularly my clients. The length and the depth, both of which are quite a bit beyond the allowable at 22.1 versus 19 meters for the depth and 22.1 versus 17 meters for the length. That's a big variance, and it's those variances that kill this tree. Simple. We've had an arborist go out at my client's expense. I can't remember if that information's been shared with the neighbor, but nevertheless, that tree is a very important tree for the valley, for my neighbors, and I have argued with Jonathan, the planner for number 91, that this would be a great tree to keep for the benefit of any new owner, because this is a development that's going to happen next door, who would enjoy the beauty of a gorgeous sugar maple tree. I think that, you know, we can agree to disagree on architecture or planning, but at the same time, I'm just severely disappointed on behalf of my clients that nobody on the other side has even made an inkling of a move to understand that this tree is important. It's owned by both parties. They can't just come in and cut it down. And I'd be happy to answer any questions the committee might have.
Okay. Any questions?
Oh, by the way, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, just to clarify, the number 93, my clients do have, I actually designed the house, do have a side yard of 1.26, but that's only for about 40% of the length of the house. The rest of it is at 1.5 meters. We don't have an argument with side yards, etc., height, all of those things. We have a problem with a perfectly good tree, a great tree, being demolished for the lack of understanding and some flexibility in design. Thank you.
Okay. Any question for this gentleman? No. Mr. Higgins, you mentioned few variances, but mostly you concentrated on the tree. Any idea why forestry did not weigh on this application?
I was shocked that they didn't, quite frankly. I deal with forestry on pretty much every project. I don't have an answer for that. I was very disappointed because they're usually tough as nails when it comes to private trees over a certain diameter, as you know, and this one is a large 0.52 tree, perfectly healthy tree. I don't have an answer for that, but I can tell you there is a way to save this tree for the benefit of both parties.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Sharon Rancourt. Are you there? Sharon Rancourt?
Mr. Chair and members, it appears Sharon is not in the meeting.
Okay. Okay, Sharon is gone. Lawrence Sanders, are you there?
Yes,
Okay.
present.
Can you please tell us your name and your address so we can record it?
Certainly. My name is Lawrence Sanders. I'm at 93 Donwoods Drive, Toronto, Ontario, M4N 2G7.
Thank you. So please tell us what's your concern, and we'll give you your 5 minutes here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. As you have just heard from Mr. Higgins, we are quite upset with the variances that are proposed for the alleged or for the proposed build. The tree that Mr. Higgins has mentioned affords us shade. It affords us a beauty, privacy, natural light. We have grandchildren that are at the house on a regular basis, and they enjoy the privacy.
Mr. Sanders, I just realized Mr. Higgins just spoke on your behalf. Do we need both of you?
No, his points stand for my wife and I. Thank you.
Well, your wife and you, didn't Mr. Higgins represent you?
He does represent me, yes, sir.
Yeah, so how many? In fact, I had letters here. I had 3 letters from 93. I have them right here. And then Mr. Higgins spoke for you. And then, you know, we have other people to speak. Is that necessary? So I'll give you a couple minutes. I'll give you a couple minutes. Please tell us something different so we can move on.
No, we're happy with the presentation that Mr. Higgins has provided, and our points are the same.
You're okay? Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Stephen Palmer, are you there?
Mr. Chair and members, Stephen Palmer is present on the call, but has not authorized his microphone.
So he's not. He's not. Okay. So we have one more speaker, Chris Skillen. Are you there, please?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes. Tell us, please, your name and your address.
So I'm Chris Skillen. I'm at 7 Winton Road, M4N 3E2.
Okay. So please, you have your 5 minutes. Please tell us what's your concern.
Yes, I'm concerned. First of all, a small comment that Jonathan indicated to the committee that he had tried to talk to neighbors. I've never been contacted by Jonathan, and I think it's disingenuous for him to have explained that he tried to connect with the neighbors.
So please go ahead.
Yes, okay. And so my main concern is Jonathan actually represented to the committee that it's a very large property. Properties in this area are quite large, but he's seeking lot coverage, which is in excess of the 30%. So he can't have it both ways in many respects. And in addition to that, I am concerned that the desire to build a hot tub and a swimming pool towards the back of the lot, which is on the floodplain, which is very saturated in the spring, will be a considerable problem for him to build, and that there will be a requirement for a grade change, and of course, drainage flowing onto properties that are not that property. I'll pause.
Continue with your presentation. It's all right.
Okay, so I just sort of noticed that the chair is empty. Anyway, he's done a pretty good job today, by the way. So in many respects, I have a problem with the number of variances, particularly on lot coverage and the size of the building in general. And again, I am very concerned about drainage issues as it relates to his plan for the backyard. And again, one more time, and I'll be finished shortly, is the fact that I am very disappointed that Jonathan chose not to communicate with any of the neighbors. We've all spent the better part of the afternoon waiting to be heard in this committee, and I just don't think it's the way to conduct business, Jonathan.
Thank you, Mr. Skillen.
I'm finished. I'm finished.
Yeah, thank you. Let's see if somebody has any question for you. For Mr. Skillen, any question? No? Okay, I understand. I see now Mr. Palmer is back. Mr. Palmer, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Could you please tell us your name and your address, please?
Steve Palmer, 89 Donwoods Drive, Toronto, M4N 2G7.
Okay, so tell us what's your concern, and we'll have presentation no more than 5 minutes.
Okay, first I'd like to clarify something. The purpose of adjourning this meeting in August was to have some discussions with the neighbors. Jonathan mentioned that he had trouble connecting with some of us. I'm immediately to the west of the property. There was no attempt whatsoever to contact me. There was no phone call. There was no email. There was no note on the door. There was no knock on the door. So that's a fact. There's a slew of 11 variances here. They're called minor variances, and they may be if you look at each one individually, but what's happening here is you're building a house that is wider than it's supposed to be, higher than it's supposed to be, longer than it's supposed to be. And I just question why we have these rules if someone could come in and just break all of them. A particular concern to me is the amount that the house extends to the front and to the rear of my house, which is going to impact the sunlight for us at the back. And we also have a tree between the two properties on the property line. It's a 50-year-old tree, perfectly good health. I notice on the plan that it seems to be needed to be cut down just and so the driveway can go over 1 more foot, which seems ridiculous to me. The whole point of the neighborhood in Hogs Hollow is to have these nice mature trees, and there seems to be sometimes little regard for that. That's it for me.
That's it? Okay. Any question for these gentlemen? All right, so let's get back the agent. Mr. Benjowski, would you like to come and comment and address all the concerns that have been raised?
Yes, a couple of things. In terms of a conservation issue, we actually have given TRCA that is posted online on the AIC a grading plan that indicates they don't have any objections in terms of flooding or anything like that. So in terms of anything that goes on this property, it will be fully contained within it. And that is online in the package that's been available to everybody. As a professional planner, I rely on other professionals to provide opinions on things that they are experts in their field. This is not only a property that is subject to urban forestry, it's actually subject to the Ravine and Natural Features Protection. That's even another level above urban forestry that comments and looks at trees. The commenting as to now has been 0 on both applications from forestry. In fact, forestry has approved the hoarding that has gone up on the property for other portions of it. So I'm not here to question why forestry has not commented on something. They've clearly been to the site. They are in receipt of an arborist report that was prepared and accepted on the applicant's behalf. So in terms of the appropriateness of trees, I'm a planner. I'm looking at the variances and where they're appropriated on the land. And yes, we are requesting an increase in building length. And Adam, if we could just go back to my presentation package, please, quickly. Again, I did include some measurements of where these portions are appropriated on the property. And I will also address some of the concerns of number 89 Donwoods when we can get there. I think it's maybe 2 up from there, please, Adam. This one, please. So what I've done here is I've actually taken them as being linear dimensions because of the axis of Donwoods, all measurements as per the zoning bylaw are taken along that axis. So if we look, for example, to the adjacent property at number 89 Donwoods, the rear wall of our property matches that rear wall to the exact extent of it. Now, as we continue to go on that bias, the angling of Donwoods, we're naturally going to have a deeper house in relation to Defender's house at number 93. That's just how it has to happen based upon the curvature and the moving of the street itself. Maybe one quick other thing, just to address one of the comments of number 89, speaking to our house being pushed forward. The actual dwelling proposed at 91 Donwoods is actually located behind the front portion of number 89. The zoning bylaw dictates your front yard setback as an average of the two adjacent dwellings. So when we average those out, that's partly why we end up with this axis of an increase in length and an increase of depth of where it relates to the adjacent properties. Now, maybe just to address some of the issues that were brought up about communication, maybe it was my understanding and apparently incorrectly that I thought Mr. Higgins was representing the neighbors. I didn't know, excuse me, it was just the adjacent neighbor. Like I said, we tried numerous times to get together. I don't want to go through why we didn't, but I tried my best to communicate with him on numerous occasions. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Any questions for this speaker?
No.
Miss Tarodi, you had a question?
No, I don't have a question, but I just want to talk, and I'm ready to put forward a motion.
Please go ahead.
First of all, I listen to the neighbors, and I listen to applicant, and I also look at the deferral which they got on August 6th. So, and I look at the name of the people in which it was mentioned on the August 6th. So these people who come today came earlier, and they had concerns. And then one of the reasons that we give them deferral, apart from TRCA, was that the applicant go and talk with the neighbors and at least listen, because a part of any development is that you have to just communicate and with the neighbors, especially if they have concerns, and definitely they had concerns because they came before and they come right now. So I think the applicant and designer didn't do their due diligence and they didn't communicate properly. And apart from that, I'm not very pleased with the east and west side yard setback of 1.22, and I'm not very pleased with the lot coverage, which is more than 32. And I also listened to Mr. Higgins regarding their point about this valuable tree and an architect, and he also provided some valuable suggestion in terms of a small modification in order to preserve such an asset for that community. Therefore, I believe that this is, and also the number of variants, we have 11 variants, which I don't think it's minor. Therefore, my motion will be to refuse this application.
Okay. We have a recommendation. We have a motion to refuse. I just want to see the whole staff, the whole members. Is Nadine there? Oh, she had to leave. Okay. All right. So I have a motion to refuse. The second. You have a second? No second. Okay. So the motion failed. So can I have another motion, please? Mr. Bartolo?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I understand there's a bit of contention around some of these items here. And while I understand that the neighbors may have wanted to get together and discuss this application, we do provide a public forum for everybody to speak and express their views here. And we can't really force people into cooperation or negotiation with their neighbors. It's not really within our purview, unfortunately. And while we do have 11 variances here before us, I've looked at the area, I've looked at the application, I've looked at the material presented. We have no negative reports from the TRCA or Urban Forestry regarding the trees. And I do believe that the nature of the development is fitting in with the neighborhood and the adjacent buildings. So I'm going to put forward a motion to approve this application, subject to the recommendations of the staff reports that it be developed substantially in accordance with the building length and building depth as seen on the drawings provided, and make it subject to the conditions of the urban forestry memo attached.
I'm sorry, we didn't hear the last one. Subject to what?
The urban forestry memo attached.
Okay, thank you. There was
excuse me.
There was a echoing there. Okay, second.
Just before I second, I didn't see any urban forestry.
Yes. Yeah, he's right. There was no forestry. No. Yeah, Mr. Klassen, you're right. I didn't have forestry here. I wonder if we can add it. Can
Is somebody making an amendment to the motion? Or?
Yeah, there is one. No, there is one forestry here. I haven't seen it either, but there is one forestry.
Yeah, there's a memorandum attached.
Yeah, thank you. So there is, Mr. Klassen, there is forestry, but you were right. I didn't see it either, but there is one. So
it is okay. That I will second the motion.
Thank you. Of course, they're all in favor too, and opposed. Miss Atarodi is opposing. Okay, sir, your application is approved, subject to the condition of the staff that was just read, and subject to forestry. So that's it. You're the winner. That's the last one, 44 application.
Thank you.
Okay, he's the winner. Can I have a motion to terminate, please? Ms. Atarodi.
Motion to terminate at 4:37 p.m.
Thank you. Second. Second, Mr. Bartolo. All in favor? Okay. 4:30 is terminated.
Thank you, everybody.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, guys. You did very well.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Yeah,
Bye.
you did very well. I thought we'll finish.